Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. Starting off with Pakistan taking on the Netherlands in the second one-day international. Pakistan already lead the three-match series 1-0 after winning the first one international by 16 runs. Today, Netherlands won the toss and opted to bat first, and they're 165 for 8 in 41 overs. They had some notable performances by De Leed and Cooper, one of them scoring 68. Lead is still on the crease, not out on 68 on 107 deliveries. Cooper out on 66. That was the 100-run partnership in between so far for Pakistan. Haris Rauf, Naseem Shah and Mohammad Nawaz bagged 2 wickets each, while Mohammad Wasim Jr. and Shadab Khan bagged 1 wicket each as well. So 8 wickets in total so far and still 9 overs of play remaining. So hopefully Pakistan can get them all out, chase the target down and take the series. We want them to take a clean sweep of the series, but the first match went a bit close. So Netherlands performing well, and even today this solid partnership in between shows us that they've got quality, they've got intent at least when you talk about a non-test playing nation. The 9th wicket has also just fallen, I've been told, and they're 9 down now as far as their first innings is concerned. Moving on to some more news from the world of cricket. The Pakistan Cricket Board has, of course, announced the Future Tours program for the next 4 years for Pakistan cricket team as well. It's a very, very extensive schedule that has been announced, which includes 10 teams touring to Pakistan in the span of these 4 years as well. Also, if you look at the overall scenario, 27 tests, 47 one-day internationals, 56 T20 internationals in between this entire program, 238 days of international cricket. We will be discussing that in detail as well. Moving on to the English Premier League, that will also be in the second segment, where Brentford thrashing Manchester United, Kane salvaging a point for Spurs as well, and also today marks 10 years since Harry Kane, of course, started his Premier League journey as well. And then, of course, the furiosity and the action happening between Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte. We'll be discussing that in detail. That's the lineup, and now discussing cricket. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by our guest. First of all, former Test cricketer, ICC match referee, part of the PCB management every now and then, Colonel retired Naushad Ali. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you.
Great to have you on the show. We've also been joined by our cricket expert and commentator, Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Wa alaikum assalam, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Sir, first of all, Netherlands have really impressed me. I think Pakistan are cruising right now. But as a non-test playing nation, they've got some quality.
Yeah, they have some quality, but do not remember that they were about 14 or 15 for 3.
Yes, sir. 8 for 3 initially.
8 for 3,
yes.
Yeah. And then Cooper.
Yes, sir.
He was clean bowled. And then after that, the single came, it was a no ball. And no ball, not this much, it was this much no ball. So, first of all, I'll say that Naseem Shah, new entrant to this ODI, must control his game. I mean, he is a youngster, people are hoping a lot from him. I mean, if you just follow his step, his action, run up and follow through, it is somewhere near to Dennis Lillies. So that's the one thing. But I'll say that they won the toss, right? Said they decided to bat, but they could not put up that much total which was required. And I think so far it looks to be a one-sided affair, unless Pakistan batting shows some negative signs.
Overall, the wickets played well, sir. Even in the first one day, we saw a run-scoring game.
Yes, yes. It is the same ground where they are playing before. It is the same ground where all other matches have been played in the past. And I think it's a good role pitch. There are curators. They have done good job. But the ball is coming at a certain leveled height, then there was a good turn as well, and then supporting the extra fast bowling like Haris Rauf.
Absolutely. Asif, your thoughts so far? 9 down now, the Netherlands are just 1 wicket away from their first innings completion. So Pakistan would try to chase this down easily.
Yes, looks like, as Kana said, that it's a if Pakistan could play very simple cricket, it's a one-sided game. It could be one-sided game, and it should be one-sided game the way Pakistan have bowled. Kana Sahab said about Naseem Shah. One thing I really wanted to mention about Naseem Shah, everyone was talking about his red ball bowling. He's a very good and straight bowling action. If you do remember, Shane Bond has a similar, he has a similar bowling action. It looks like Shane Bond. Pace is very good, and you know that when we talk about that, the rest of the bowlers, especially Haris Rauf, he bowled nicely. We always talk about Haris Rauf, the way he is leading for the Pakistan, and he's bowling for the Pakistan. It's really important, to come up with low economy. And today he's really nice. But this is the problem with him, because he bowled in really nicely in one match, and for next 3-4 matches he looks weird. And this is what we have watched in last Test match as well. Last ODI as well, that the way he was bowling, he would have to control his bowling line or length.
Absolutely.
Whenever you are coming up, Ahmed, especially when we talk about the 50-over match, if you are bowling 1-2 loose deliveries in an over, it means that you're giving 6-8 runs, 1 boundary and then 2-3 singles, which is of course really, it's costly. So I think today Pakistan started really nicely, looks like a very good team, looks like a team effort. Mohammad Nawaz, he's so nice, and Shadab bowled really nicely with the economy of 4. So I think looks like Pakistan have learned the lesson from the mistakes, what they've done in the first match. So far, very good match for Pakistan, and I think they could win this match comfortably.
Absolutely, they should. Now, sir, fast bowling is all about discipline, and I want people to understand the difference of bowling 4 overs in a T20 game and in 1 day, 10 overs, and you have to bowl in spells as the captain deems necessary. This is one thing that is very important for at least our young fast bowlers to understand.
You see, the latest trend is that everybody wants to play the T20s. I mean, it's something where you have to only work hard for only 24 balls. And then after that, they want to go and stand on the rope and watch the remaining match. I mean, that's something where hard work is avoided, and then get good money as well. Comparatively, you go to the ODI, it is little higher than that. Then after the test match. But I'll say that real game, real cricket is the test cricket. I mean, you have to have the patience, you have to have your technique, you have to have your stamina, and then understand the game scientifically, then you can survive in the test cricket. Those who understand test cricket, they know it very well. Even if it is a 5-day game, it goes to the draw, but they really enjoy from session to session. They really enjoy competition between bowler and batsman at all the levels, whether it is a sort of one-sided affair, or even if there is a close in field, they are watching and coming and close to the batsman. That is all very, very interesting. For example, I mean, if somebody plays in the cover, right, of course, the captain sees, the bowler sees, this fellow is a good player on the cover side. Like we had in very, very past Saeed Ahmad. I mean, he used to start with the new ball from the cover. So people know that Saeed will come, he will start playing even ways all on the cover, front foot in the covers. So they adjust the field accordingly. How they adjust, that is very interesting. How they move the fielder, that is very interesting. There should not be a gap between cover and point. I mean, that should be covered. This is all the finer technical points of the game of cricket which is enjoyed in the test cricket only. So I think as far as the discipline in the fast bowling is concerned, in the T20, then that should be followed, and that should be understood by all the bowlers. Naseem Shah, I'll say, is a young fast bowler, beautiful action, this much big strap, and then a round arm action. I mean, that's something not like Haris Rauf, who stops the shoulder at certain moments. So I think he should learn and he should practice. And Waqar Yunus rightly said, whether you are a fast bowler for about 10 years or you are a fast bowler about 5 years, you have to concentrate on each and every delivery.
Yes, you have to. I think that's what goes into being a fast bowler and the entire art of fast bowling. Asif, youngsters right now, and it's a very, disappointing dilemma that when you meet them, people who want to be fast bowlers, they have the prime intent of only bowling quick. Everybody wants to bowl fast, but that skill, the wrist position, the swing element and everything, that is being ignored by the youngsters now.
Well, that's right. The important thing is that our youngsters, they're not playing much domestic cricket. You would learn a lot from the domestic cricket when you're coming up with the PSL, the shorter format, bowling only 4 overs in a match, and the selectors are picking you up on the performance of PSL. I think won't be a good idea, and this is what we are observing in longer format in 50 overs match and then the test match. When we talk about that, as Kana Sahab said about Naseem Shah, the good thing is that he always ready to learn. And I have observed him personally, met him twice. His body language is really good, and he's so confident the way he's bowling, and really good addition when we are looking forward that who could be the third fast bowler for the Pakistan, because Hassan Ali is not performing well for a long time, and management have decided to give him some rest. So I think all the eyes now on the Naseem Shah, because next year we always talk about that we are planning and we're going for the T20 for the 50 overs World Cup. So if our team is not ready for the 50 overs World Cup, and whenever we talk about that there should be 3 teams, as you were talking to me and you were telling me right before the show that we should have 3 teams now: the red ball cricket team 50 overs and different with the T20. So that could be good idea and the best idea, because the player should know that in which format he could be fixed, and he is coming up either in the T20 in 50 overs match or in a longer format like test cricket, as Karna said that the original cricket and the cricket beauty is the test cricket. So Pakistani fast bowlers, we got that we have a very rich history in fast bowling. Talk about Wasim Akram, talk about Imran Khan, talk about Waqar Yunus, Sarfraz Nawaz, and recently Shoaib Akhtar, and then Aqib Javed. So whenever we talk about the fast bowling, so we have a rich history. I think that our youngsters should be learning from them. And I don't know what happened with the Hasnan, what's wrong with his bowling action, because Waqar Yunus, the legendary fast bowler, was working with him, and Musa. The issue is, you are bringing youngsters for 1-2 matches and then saying goodbye. I think it's not good even for the youngsters in our cricket as well.
I think that long-term approach is very, very necessary. But at the same time, I think the bigger question right now is that you already have a prime fast bowler in the face of Shaheen Shah Afridi, who is I think find for Pakistan in this current era and is leading Pakistan's bowling attack in all 3 formats. But how important is it for him even, sir, to actually have a bowling partner who is delivering from the other end as well, like Naseem Shah?
Yes, certainly. I mean, if you look at say about history about 10 years, 15 years back, Wasim and Waqar, they used to be real good partners. I mean, they used to talk each other eye to eye. For example, if I'm bowling to you, you are a sort of batsman where I want to bowl to you, then Waqar will try to give him single in the last delivery so that he come on to the Wasim Akram. Like a joke is there. I mean, when Sri Lankan Ranju Madugala, who is the international match referee, he came and inside, and then Wasim bowled a real good bouncer, and then it flew over his hat. So he went to his other batsman, who was a senior partner at that moment, and told him that, please, I want to avoid him. Well, all right, I'll take a single. He took a single, he went to the other side. Other side, Waqar was bowling.
Toe crusher.
First one, it go and crush the toe. And when it was done, he said, this fellow is even faster than the first one. The first one is better for me.
This is, this is why it becomes so important, because we've seen Shaheen Shah Afridi delivering with the ball. But obviously, sir, he's had problems. Hassan Ali was not his 100%. And when you're leaking runs from the other end, of course, Shaheen cannot do everything.
Yes, I'll just complete it also. You see, they have done a right thing to rest Shaheen Shah Afridi, because he's a prize bowler. He's the one, who's taking all the burn. And to support him, somebody is a must. They must develop. It is not only Shaheen who's getting the wicket, but Shaheen will help himself to the other bowler, and the other bowler will help Shaheen. For example, a run-up in the pitch. Once you talk in between the overs and you look at the pitch, you find certain things, the small stone, the patch of grass, the soft grass, the wet patch, they all exchange the notes among each other. And then they tell that this is so and so is just at the spot. If you pitch on that wet spot, it will come slow.
The behavior of the pitch.
Yeah. So, so many other things. For example, when Waqar Yunus was bowling in a practice session in Australia, and then they wanted to have a correction on each other. I mean, there were two bowling together on the practice session. There was no match was there. So what happened? I mean, when they called one of the batsmen, and they said, "Okay, you stand, please," so that we can correct ourselves. That batsman, after playing the few ball, he said, "No, you two correct yourself. I'm going."
He didn't want to be part of that anymore. I mean, imagine facing Waqar Yunus or Wasim Akram or then Shoaib Akhtar in the nets, and it's absolutely horrible. And I listened to this very interesting part from Cricket Australia where they were asked who's the most dangerous bowler to face in the nets. And they said usually what fast bowlers do is that if the captain is batting, they want to bowl as quick and as brilliant as they can because they want to impress the captain. So Ricky Ponting had the most tough time in the nets because everybody was trying to bowl a bouncer to him, and that's how they were trying to impress him, but he got out of that as well. But these are all interesting stories that you hear from the world of cricket as well. And but Asif, final thoughts now on this topic. Netherlands, if they go to all out now initially, Pakistan should chase it down, of course, with ease, but try to do it at a better run rate. That should be the case now.
Yes, and better run rate and with the 10 wickets. This is what I want to watch, because this is called a convincing victory, and we want to see Imamul Haq playing good innings in these conditions, because, Fakhar Zaman, he was the man of the match and centurion. What he said actually, he said that these are the most difficult conditions I have ever played. So if Fakhar Zaman is saying that I'm not used to play in these sort of conditions, and even then he scored a century, it's good,
Right, Asif, just a small interruption. 186 all out, the Netherlands, so Pakistan would be chasing 187.
87, I mean, it's a very easy target for Pakistan.
4.23 runs per over.
Yes, and let's suppose if Pakistan is chasing this after around 40 hours with the winning victory, let's say 10 wickets, 9 wickets, could be a comfortable win.
Right.
And I want to see Imamul Haq especially scoring now. It's
Definitely.
really, yeah.
3.72 the required run rate for Pakistan. Netherlands are all out, but I think a lot of credit to the lead. 89 not out. Remains stranded on the other end as well. But then, of course, in the initial final wicket, he just had lost his wicket. So he just fell 11 runs short, what would have been a dream century for him. But he was out on 89. So he's the notable performer. And for Pakistan, we've seen some brilliant bowling performances. Haris Rauf taking 3, Mohammad Nawaz taking 3, 2 wickets for Naseem Shah, 1 each for Wasim and Shadab Khan as well. Stellar performance they would be chasing down, and 7.1 over 16 runs only for Haris Rauf, 2.33 the economy. So he's bettered himself after the first game, what we thought, but it's all about intent. Moving on now, of course, we want Pakistan to chase the target down, and time will tell. Future Tours program, Pakistan Cricket Board has announced an extensive 4-year program for Pakistan. 10 teams will be touring Pakistan, 238 days of international cricket. We've got stellar teams that are coming to the country as well, then ICC events, ACC events, the HBL, PSL as well included. Sir Noshad, your thoughts, sir?
Yes, I think this is one of the most important functions of the ICC. I mean, all these chief executives, even sometimes the chairman as well, they go and attend that meeting that yearly held either in the month of June or July or August. And they come so well prepared, because all depends on the whole 3-4 years cricket on this meeting. How it is, they have notes are exchanged, and the first presentation is given by the chief executive of the ICC, that what is our requirement, what we have achieved, what we want to achieve in the future. And if you want to say, for example, take the case of Pakistan, their first requirement could be that Pakistan should have more international cricket because they have lost something in the past.
Yes, sir.
So if that happens, then Pakistan is given certain matches. If Pakistan representative is well prepared, he can argue with everybody else, and then he can demand certain concession. I've written in some newspaper, it's just like this. For example, Indians playing next 4 years in this FTP, future tour program, but they are not playing to Pakistan. Now that's sad, because Indians, if they play to Pakistan, apart from interesting for the crowd point of view, interesting from the two countries' cricketing point of view, it is very, very interesting for Pakistan's financial position point of view. Because if you play India in any part of the world, whether it's ODI, T20, and even a test match, they make a lot of money on that. So what Pakistan should do now, they should pressurize ICC. They should pressurize India through ICC, not directly. They should not back, they should not respect to ICC that Indian must accommodate Pakistan in the next 4 years. If not 4 years, then the 5th year. This is the one case they should make it again, number one. Number two, that for example, they have given a block in the month of October, in the month of November. There should be timeline should be kept together. Then there should be insurance or some sort of coverage where Pakistan is, I'm talking only Pakistan's point of view.
Yes, sir.
Pakistan is insured their guarantee money, insured there's something, other commitments.
If a team does not tour.
Yeah, if the tour is off or because of crowd or because of anything else, they get the guarantee money for the certain insurance company, and that should all be arranged under the umbrella of ICC.
Right.
Then, of course, apart from all this FTP, there are certain tours which are mutual between the two teams.
Bilateral.
And there should be that bilateral, yes.
Yes,
That gap should be found. Right. We have got all this. We have got these matches. I mean, public will be pretty happy that we have got 27 test matches, but that is not. I mean, you are getting 27 test matches. You are getting 3 test matches in a series. You are getting 2 test matches in a series. You are getting 520, 420 in a series. Why? It should be according to the requirements of the Pakistan, requirement of the venue, the financial value of the tour.
I mean, it becomes 6 a year. And if you just calculate it even further, so in 365 days, you're only playing 30 days of test cricket.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. I mean, you should fight your case again. What normally happens, when this meeting is over, your share is announced, you come back, you do the homework, and write it back.
Definitely. Asif, a very detailed analysis by Colonel Saab, and obviously, it's a huge insight to the entire program. But that's where you as a cricket board need to be very, very strong in your approach towards international cricket.
That's right, and this is what we are expecting from Ramiz Raja, because you know that when we talk about his personality and we talk about that he's an international personality and he's representing Pakistan right after, you know, when the New Zealand decided that they're not playing in Pakistan, they went back. But the way he fought and the way he is fighting, as Colonel Saab said, that only 6 matches, this is the concern. But you know that after 2004, 2005, if we will be playing 2 Tri-Nation series in Pakistan, first New Zealand, South Africa and Pakistan, and then England, Sri Lanka and Pakistan, and you know then bilateral series, and then of course when we talk about that if we do not have any bilateral series with India, it's a huge concern and a question mark, of course. Being a cricket fan, I want to watch India playing in Pakistan and Pakistan playing in India.
But if you talk to people from both sides of the border, not just in Pakistan, we often talk to our Indian fraternity, cricket fraternity across the border on social media as well. Even they actually want to see Pakistan and India playing more often, not just us.
Yes, that's right. So right thing which Colonel Saab mentioned, that come up with the sheer pressure and put pressure on ICC, go through ICC and tell them that this would happening, bring the insurance and each and everything. Rightly said by Colonel Saab. And I must say that if, let's suppose, do remember 2004-2005 season, India came to Pakistan, you know, I was a college student, and of course in Pakistan it was an exhibition, and everyone was enjoying, even the Indian cricketers were enjoying there. Even Pakistani cricketers said that we enjoyed a lot in India. So I think it's the requirement of the
I
time.
got an autograph from Sourav Ganguly, so I was over the moon.
I got an autograph of Mohammad Kaif, Anil Kumble, Sachin Tendulkar, and even Zahir Khan, Irfan Pathan. So, you know, lots of memories there. Of course, we'll be looking forward that if India is traveling to Pakistan and Pakistan traveling to India, would be a great breakthrough.
Well, I think that's one of the points that we missed there. Najam Sethi, in his tenure as chairman PCB, actually talked about the fact, and obviously BCCI and PCB came to terms where BCCI was playing 3 series at least against Pakistan. But unfortunately, because like you mentioned, that was between the boards, so BCCI backed out of it. Yeah. Had it been through the ICC, then it would have been permanent.
There should be guarantees either from to ICC or some other countries, I mean, who can influence the Indians, I mean, not necessarily the cricketing point of view, but otherwise as well. Because this is sort of thing, the diplomacy is also
Political
involved
issue comes in.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
also involved in that. And diplomacy, of course, there are quite a few people in Pakistan, like Shahryar Khan. I mean, he used to be one diplomat who used to travel all over India. And then without mentioning what does he want to talk to, and then all of a sudden he was available in the meeting and talking about for the Pakistan's point of view. So I mean, he was the ambassador of Pakistan in India for quite some time as well. So this sort of person, or Nazam Sethi, as you said, I mean, he could do a lot.
And even
more for
Ramiz has a
Pakistan.
good relationship
Yeah,
across.
of course. Ramiz Raza could not attend this meeting, in this particular meeting, FTP. He is on a month's leave. But certainly the number 2 man who attended the meeting, he fought well. I mean, he has brought his share. But let us see how much we can add to it.
So, very important to understand this entire perspective, because we're particularly focused on the Indian point of view right now as well. It does become more of a financial issue, because people often say that because Pakistan and India are not playing each other, they only play each other in ICC events, the share of revenue in that ICC event goes
Yes,
a lot
yes.
more than expected as well.
Because if you have mutual, India and Pakistan playing each other, I mean, even if they decide about 2080, then Pakistan is beneficial. Equivalent to 3.
I think that really sums up the situation. But obviously, like Colonel Saab said, that still a lot of cricket coming our way, and definitely we need to plead our case and get it better. But 27 test matches, 47 one-day internationals, and then of course 50, 60, 20 internationals as well. But then I think, like Colonel Saab said, we're very happy as cricketing fans. We're getting 10 teams coming to Pakistan. But still, that ratio amongst 4 years needs to be understood, that it's still not that amount of cricket what other countries might be getting.
You are rightly said, but I think even we have started something, and you know that after a long time that Pakistan will be hosting 10 test nations out of 12, which is really appreciable, of course, you know, and Australia will be playing white ball series, Ireland, Afghanistan will be playing, you know, in Pakistan. It's a good gesture. So, you know, when you are suffering with the menace of terrorism, and there were no international cricket for a long time, even for 10, 12 years. And after that, even if you're getting 27 test matches, and let's suppose 2 tri-nation series in Pakistan, and then, you know, 50 over Asia Cup, and then we will have Champions Trophy in Pakistan, plenty enough. I think that after those 4 years, you'll be expecting more cricket in Pakistan, and then we'll be demanding more, inshallah.
Definitely, inshallah, that is the case. Sir, final thoughts, because we also have a Champions Trophy in Pakistan. Asif just mentioned that as well. That's going to be a very important tournament for us, at least.
I think it's a big achievement for the Pakistan Cricket Board. To have this tournament be played in Pakistan, I wish everything goes well. I wish it goes according to the program and it becomes a success. If this becomes a success, then Pakistan will be open to many more tournaments from
Even the
ICC
World Cup,
and
yes.
otherwise.
Even the World Cup as well. Colonel Saab and Asif, thank you very much for joining us on the show. On that note, we'll go towards a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss football. Stay tuned. Welcome back after the break. Time now to discuss football, the English Premier League, and all the action you need to know right in this report. Let's take a look and then come back.
Tottenham scored a last-minute equaliser to rescue a point against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in a game which saw heated scenes between the respective managers Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte. Khalidou Koulibaly opened the scoring in the 19th minute with a thumping finish. It was an opening hour which the home side dominated, but Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg gave Spurs the equaliser midway through the second half. Less than 10 minutes later, Tuchel's fury turned to joy as Reece James restored the Blues' lead from a Raheem Sterling assist. Yet it was Spurs who had the final celebration as a corner in the 5th minute of added time saw Harry Kane's header deflected in to produce a dramatic finish. The bad blood between Tuchel and Conte continued after the final whistle as the post-match handshake did not go well, with both managers being sent off. On the other hand, Manchester United's first away match of the new campaign ended in a sobering 4-0 defeat against Brentford, which leaves the Red Devils without a point at the bottom of the league. This is the first time that United have started a league campaign with consecutive losses since the first edition of the Premier League, which funnily enough, they went on to win. The stats do not make pleasant readings for Ten Hag either.
Well, there you have it, all you need to know about the Premier League action. And so far, if you look at the points table as well, with a minimum of 2 games played each, Manchester City are dominating the points table. The defending champions are on 6 points, followed by Arsenal, who've had 6 points as well. Brentford is at 3rd place after their stellar performance against Manchester United as well. Then, of course, Tottenham at number 4 with 4 points, Newcastle and Leeds. And, of course, talking about Manchester United, they're at the bottom of the table on the 20th position, played 2 matches, have not won anyone so far as well. And of course, if you look at the entire scenario, of course, a long way to go to the Premier League, but the problems for Manchester United still persist. And like I also mentioned, that we will be discussing this in detail. To discuss this further, we've been joined by sports expert Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well as well, Ali. First of all, 20th position, the bottom is Manchester United. Says a lot about people's expectations for this season.
Well, it's very, very disappointing. You expect better from a team like Manchester United. This is the worst start for Manchester United in about 70, 80 years, worst in the Premier League era. And it's extremely disappointing because this is a club which has won the Premier League title about 20 times, 13 Premier League titles. And for them to actually, be after 2 games to have a -5 deficit on goal difference and to be 20th speaks volumes as how they've fallen as a club, a team which used to dominate the Premier League, which were, unstoppable force. Everybody used to envy them. It's very, very disappointing that after 2 games, and after 2 easy games, Ahmed, playing against Brighton at home and then losing away to Brentford, you have -5. And only now it only gets more difficult because now they play this 19-time champion Liverpool and runner-up for the past few seasons. So it's only going to get worse. And unless they fix the complete structure of the club, they get some transfers, fix the mentality, it's only going to get worse for Manchester United. So they have a long way to go, and it's going to be a very long, hard, arduous season for them.
Well, what's the way forward, Ali Mehdi? What's the latest of news that you can tell us from the Glazers camp, from Manchester United's fan club as well? We've heard that United have also approached Casemiro from Madrid as well, then Ten Hag's entire strategy, implementation, everything in between. But I think the biggest point is, what is the future of the club with the Glazers?
I think that's a very good question, and thank you for asking that, Ahmed. The latest is that Manchester United, the owners Glazers, for the first time you could say in about 17 years since they took over, they're actually willing to sell a minority stake in the club. They want to actually sell a portion, and for that reason, what it means is that they eventually might think about selling all their assets and leaving the club. So they're selling a minority stake, and probably Britain's biggest businessman in the form of Sir Richard Ratcliffe, actually who's a die-hard Manchester United fan. He belongs to the area. He's from Manchester. He owns a club in France by the name of Nice. He's actually interested in buying. Let's not forget, this is the same person who actually tried to buy Chelsea for 4.25 billion a few months ago, but it didn't work out. And he always wanted to buy Manchester United. So now that this minority stake is at hand, he's most probably going to make a bid. And if that's the case, this is exactly what the fans want. The fans want a new ownership who love the club, who are going to invest the club, and most importantly, aren't going to take from the club like the Glazers have done. They've taken about 1.6 billion pounds actually from the club and put it in the form of dividends in their pocket. So it's only made things their relationship very acrimonious between themselves and the fans. And going forward, if the Glazers, they don't make do anything with the transfer kitty, it's only going to ruin their relationship with the fans, which is already a very, very strained one right now.
Well, that being said, obviously the future still hangs in limbo. But moving on, we've had some other stellar games. Talking about Chelsea and Tottenham, I think it's the most action we've got from the Premier League in the past 5 years. And finally, managers going against each other, which has been the hallmark. And I think the amount of videos being tweeted or retweeted and shared on social media has crossed millions by now.
Yeah, it was. I think that was a fantastic game. It just shows the passion and the longing for the game. The game between Chelsea and Tottenham. We've only had 2 match weeks till now, and I think that was the best game. I mean, you had brilliant goals in there. You had proper passion. You could say that it was an enthralling game over there. And 2 teams which went against each other. Conte going against his former club, the team he won the Premier League with in 2017, not moved in the best of circumstances, to going against Tuchel, who won the Champions League and wants to do well this year. So I thought it was an action-packed game. 2 goal defenders getting the goals from from Chelsea in the form of Koulibaly, brilliant volley, Reece James getting a goal then, and then in the form of for Tottenham it was also then in Kane getting a late equaliser. It's fantastic game. This is what the Premier League is all about. And then at the end we saw the infighting between the two managers too. This is the pure passion. This is what everybody watches the Premier League for, because it's always an action-packed game.
Ali Mehdi, today also marks 10 years since Harry Kane made his debut into the Premier League as well. So that's another stellar moment for Harry Kane as an individual.
I think Harry Kane has been, the brightest spot for English football. If there's anybody who's going to break the record in terms of Premier League goals scored, he's going to break there's Alan Shearer's record of about 260 goals. Alan Shearer has the record. He's had it for about 17 years now, and nobody's gotten close. But Harry Kane has about 170 goals, and he's just touched 30. So it's just a matter of time. In the space of 10 years, he's gotten about 170 goals. I think it's just a matter of time. If he stays in Tottenham or in the Premier League, he's going to break that record. And what a stellar performance he has. It's only unfortunate that he's not won any silverware, and that's something what he wants to do with under the regime of Conte and Tottenham Hotspur. And obviously, we have a World Cup at the end of the year. If he can actually get some silverware, probably win the World Cup with England. The ambitions he has, he wants to do well for England and win a trophy probably with England too. Last year got very close, and this also at the same time with Spurs get some sort of trophy, because he's been brilliant for the club, great servant, and it's just a matter of time before he breaks the Premier League goal scoring record.
Ali Mehdi, some of the clubs that have come in from the other division as far as making it to the Premier League is concerned and qualifying, will also be looking at this season as a prime opportunity, of course, to at least stay out of relegation.
I think Fulham is one team over there. It's owned by Shahid Khan. Shahid Khan, the Pakistani American businessman. He's actually bought the club about 10 years ago from Mohammed Al Fayed, and he's done very well. They've been a bit of a yo-yo club. They come and gone from the Premier League, so he'll probably want to stamp his authority over there. Brentford did very well last year too, and the other teams who've actually come through, they'll also want to make sure. Nottingham Forest is one. They had a brilliant start. First time they've playing since 1999 and getting a home win on their opener, getting a win on their first home turf has been brilliant for them. So I think it's going to be a very competitive season. Like teams like Fulham, Brighton, like I mentioned, Nottingham Forest, they're all going to strive very hard, and it's very difficult to say who's going to get relegated. We're in for an incredible season ahead.
Definitely. Ali Mehdi, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. That wraps it up from me and the entire team. Until our next show, it's goodbye for now.